Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Silent Podcast, where we're anything but silent. Today, I feel like it's destiny that Jason and I got paired together to cover episode 10. So, Jason, how are you? What's going on? Everything. Tell me, please.
I'm doing so well, Sasha. I think this episode really sang true to our friendship. I feel like so many times throughout the years, both personally and professionally, we've had tie destinies. And I feel like I've already signed your book of trust. So I know we're going to the end.
Yes, obviously you're my final two, or maybe final three, and then I cut you so that I can win. Who knows? But either way,
I still vote for you.
Yeah, exactly. Obviously, and same. I would obviously be voting for you. But through chicken water falling on us in the kitchen to many other wild days, I feel like we made it. We made it through everything. But yes, if anyone was wondering, Jason and I were trying to cook for about 100 people, and I didn't know how to cook then, so he was helping me, and somehow we dropped all the chicken water on our clothes for Shabbat dinner. It was beautiful. Anyway,
we still had to work after.
Yeah, 100% we did.
So let's get into this episode.
Yes.
There's 15 days left. At the top of my notes, we start by seeing
day 24, baby.
Tyson talking. He knows they're power players. He's made a big move. He knows there's a target on his back. Do you agree with him? Do you think the last episode made the target on him bigger than previously?
I think so. I think it's interesting because if he didn't play as many idols, I think he would go a little bit more under the radar, because Kieran and Warda are, I feel like, the mouthpieces where they're very much loud. Like, Kieran's winning everything, rather, I should say. And then Warda, I feel like, is the one that's like kind of the kingmaker, and she's like making all their moves, or audibly rather making all the moves, while I feel like Tyson is very smart and has been playing in the background. So I think, again, if he didn't have as many idols, or rather played as many idols, I don't know that he would have been seen as a threat, but then again, he would have probably been voted out. So either way, it works out. I do think he's a threat. Can we talk about how we get the confessional of Tyson saying, it was mostly me pulling off the move, not Kieran. Me. It was me. And then, and then he says, Kieran and I are duo. Like, just add a wink in there or something at this point.
It made me, and we hear later on in this episode, be concerned for Warda.
Yeah,
I don't see them as a duo. I see them as a trio. They are all in step together.
100%. That's why I was like, you're a duo now? Got it. Which to me meant like Anesthesia somehow got, wiggled out of that like second version of the merge, I think, where they got to be together. But I still find it very bizarro, I will say, where I don't know how Warda came into the fold and Anesthesia was out. Questions that need answers. Maybe after like the season's over, we'll get some of those answers. But anyway, and then Anesthesia, we are talking about how Tyson and Kieran are the biggest threat, and Warda, maybe not so much yet. And she's speaking with Amy and Nicole. So she's trying to, get them to really rally and be like, I think it's time to flip. And then Amy and Nicole obviously are so happy. They're like, we really respect you, and thank you so much for coming to us with all of this info. We're ready to do whatever you want. So how do you feel about Anesthesio's gameplay here?
I think she's making the right move. We see in the last episode, her allies, Tyson, Kieran, Warda, went on this reward. They got a clue to the idol, and they didn't tell her.
Yep.
And she has not forgotten that. Even though she hasn't let them know she's aware of it, she's smart, acting to them like they're buddy-buddy, but she's telling Amy and Nicole, this is the time. And I want to work with you. And it shows me how Anesthesia is dominant both socially and strategically. Yeah. She's leveraging the relationships she's built with everyone in the past 24 days and is able to implement her strategy.
Yeah, and is sharing, I think, just enough information to where the other side is like, okay, like I really feel comfortable because we have a shared enemy together. And I think that they genuinely just like her versus I think Santony is like a relationship of like convenience or necessity versus I think Anesu, they like genuinely like her and they're like, yeah, we want to work with you. And then she says, great, I think Chappie is the best person to kind of be the old Vuna to bring into this mess because we know that, Chappie's a Chappie's and we need to, get him on our side because they're going to cut him otherwise. So they start talking and Chappie's on board. He said, let's talk through this. They both decide that we should throw immunity. First of all, Chappie's has not gotten that close to winning. So I thought that was, again, they're still seeing him as a physical threat, Jason. Or am I just like not catching that correct?
I think they are. And they remember when they were in the tribal challenges, when he was so dominant, they know he has it inside of himself. And maybe he's holding back in these immunity challenges, trying to downplay his threat level. And I was surprised that Anesu was going to Chappie's because I had forgotten that they were both on Vuna 3.0.
Yes.
And they are allies. They are working together enough. But this, to me, really cemented how close they are. Talking about breaking up the Three Musketeers and how there's only 10 of 20 now, but there's going to be 2 of 20 at the end. And it's going to be them. And that just blew me away because I never thought about them as a possible final 2 pairing.
Exactly. And that's why, and I think this final 2, if Anesu and Chappie's get together, I think it would be such an interesting moment. I think Anesu wins, of course, just because of a likability only. But I think Chappie's has a lot to share, and they're so different. Like, I don't know that their games are like, they're such close allies that their games are just intertwined, so it could be so interesting. And I like that Chappie is also on board. Like, he's not being like, oh, I don't want to go against them, I don't want to, like, he's going with it, he's listening to her. So that's another like good social thing for Chappie's.
Yeah, he's proving this as he has in the past. He's very adaptable. He's willing to work with anyone that wants to bring him in.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And then it's time. Please stand up, everyone. If you're listening, I need you to stand up because we have an important announcement. There's no challenge today, but hold on to your odds, apparently, because Rainier looks like he saw a damn ghost. Like, he looks like he wants to just crawl into a hole and die because it's the duos twist. How do you feel about this? We talked about it a little bit last time, but now we're like in it.
At this point in the episode, I was hating this twist. This is something we've seen time and time again on US seasons of Big Brother, where they're paired up. They have this tied destiny. We've never seen this in any version of Survivor ever. So I do want to compliment Survivor South Africa for coming up with a brand new twist.
Yeah.
That being said, I hope no other seasons replicate it.
No, it was awful. 2 people going out, like, oh my God. And then the way it all worked out where, so everyone needs to pick a rock from a bag. It's apparently random. No, I'm just kidding. It is random. And it turned out that all of the alliances basically stuck together. Like, Vuna was with Vuna and Zamba was with Zamba. Old Zamba and Old Vuna, or OG. So it's Santony and Chappie's, which, again, how did these 2 get paired together?
I was so nervous. I stood up off my couch and my heart was racing because they are 2 people that I've been cheering for all season. And I did not want to see them both get eliminated together.
And that, I feel like that was, I still don't understand how that didn't happen, I want to say. And then Tyson and Warda are together, which great. Rainier and Amy are together, which strategic masterminds are together. Kieran and Anesu, which this one I was like, oh, we got the immunity threats together, which was interesting. And then Nicole and Anella, which I felt like, yeah, sure. I mean, they were the last 2 left.
I felt instantly that the target was automatically on Nicole and Anella.
Yeah, I also thought that because I feel like Amy and Rainier actually had better or have better relationships with everyone, and they're able to finagle better, I will say.
And I feel they're both more strategic players that have a better grasp on the game and how the flow of it is going. That if it came to it, I thought they would be able to save themselves, not knowing how the immunity challenge would go.
Of course. And then, like I said, I thought Chappies and Santony were in trouble, but I was like, oh, Immunity Island might help them out. Let's see. And at this point, I'm thinking they are okay with kind of flipping. So I thought it might be Tyson and Warda as well. So then we finally read the rules. If either one of you wins immunity, because it's not like two people play immunity together, so your odds are doubled. So if either wins immunity, you both do. If there's votes cast for one of you, you're both out, which is very important. And then if an idol is played, you're like, for one of you, both of you are safe. So to me, it's pretty basic, which means like anything that happens to one person happens to the next. You're basically playing as one survivor player. Start your ship names. And then Amy says, great, let's lock in, and I want Warda and Tyson out. And then Anesu and Chappies are like, let's go, let's blindside to Vuna OGs. They're all excited with how it all worked out and how the pairings are together. Which, Jason, I want to know, like, everyone was excited for different reasons, right? And this is where I feel like it's a great episode and a great cast, because everyone's excited. But then it's like some people are excited because they can target two people together, and then some people are like, great, now I don't have to stress out about voting my friend out.
Yeah, you're right. I think I agree. Each person has a different motivation, and they're seeing this as an opportunity to make a game-changing move, to mix up the tribe dynamics and the status quo, and to put themselves in that final 8. And I actually thought we would see more shenanigans throughout this episode and more smoke screens trying to really make it a surprise vote, because I thought at the end of this episode, it was very cut and dry. We pretty much, and everyone there at council knew who was going home. And I just wanted to see some more confusion and more effort from some of these contestants throughout this episode.
Amy said it, man. Amy said it. And then Santony really wants to vote out, vote with Vuna 2 more times. So this is, Jason, like, walk me through this, because Amy and Santony are at the well. They're talking, and then Amy's like, great, it's time to pay the piper, because we were okay with, you said, sorry, I needed to be okay with Sean leaving, so now you're voting with us, right? Santony said, hell no.
She says, not so fast. I'll vote with you after we vote out Rainier and Nicole. And this, we see how red Amy's face gets. She is not having this. She immediately starts confronting Santony. And Santony says, well, I promised them I would stay with them. And Amy so quickly says, well, you promised me too. And I could cut the tension with a knife. I felt so bad for Amy because she wants to be there. And Santony even said, I want to be at the end with you. And then we hear from Santony saying she won't be emotionally blackmailed.
That was wild, because I'm actually on team Amy. I think Amy is right, because that's at least how I saw it from the edit last week, that they were told that Santony just needs to do this one last thing, and then Santony will be back, to flip, her flippage will be back. So I was like, oh, Santony's gonna do it. We later on see a little bit more why Santony won't flip, but right now I was like, oh my god, Santony, I think you should have had a better reasoning, rather, I should say, because Amy's, I think, done with Santony. She's like, this woman is just not it for us. And Amy is just frustrated because Santony's constantly flipping. She feels like she's lying, and it's very hard to play with someone that lies and flips so much.
And I might be wrong, but to my memory, this is the first time we've heard someone directly call Santony a liar. We've heard them talk about her being a flip-flopper, her going back on her word, but no one has called her a direct liar. And so I think Amy is genuinely hurt by her friend in the game, Santony, that she's not working with her anymore.
Yes. And I because I think Amy and Santony did a lot of interesting things when they were merged at Zamba together. So I think Amy's like, wait, but we've done so much. I thought there's so much trust
Yeah.
established between us. So what's going on? But Santony's like, not today, Satan. And then, you know, Amy then goes back to old Vuna or OG Vuna and is, you know, explaining like, hey, I'm not gonna flip. Like she was really trying to get me to flip, but like I'm not gonna do it. We see Tyson's confessional saying, I don't trust her. And I don't trust and Chappies either because I know that they're useless or you know they're slimy rather according to Tyson and that they know that you know as soon as it's down to numbers on their side, I don't even think it's going to be 6. I think it might be 7 or next week. I don't know. But at least I think starting to 7, things are going to get messy. But Tyson says as soon as votes are on our side, Chappies is number 1 gone, which I thought they forgot about Chappies.
I think they're just keeping him to vote him out.
Yeah.
He is expendable to them. And
100%.
right before Tyson gave this confessional, I just want to acknowledge when Amy was telling Nicole and Anella how Santony's not on our side anymore. And we heard a comeback of this term, body corporate, that Anella said, well, she's with her body corporate. And I remembered the ghost of Mike. He's still influencing this game with this vocabulary. But I also wanted to compliment Anella in that moment for so quickly clocking Santony and reaffirming what Amy was saying as no, we cannot trust Santony, even though he had mended fences with her in previous episodes.
Yes, exactly. And then the last piece before immunity challenge is Amy is also talking about, you know, she's burned us too many times. We can't rely on her. And then Anesu is there. And then Anesu starts saying, you know what, like, again, I don't want to coast in this game. Like, I want to make some big moves. I'm ready. Like, you know, let's make some moves and let's get these fools out of here.
Anesu is saying everything right.
Yeah. Anesu's doing, again, the best job because I feel like she's really over here trying to make things work and get, you know, folks to really like listen to her and really understand what's going on. And like I said, they trust her. I also want to know, Warda and Anesu know each other. So don't you feel like it's wild that is just, it's gone, basically?
And I think it's because of the separation they had being split up on different tribes.
Yeah.
That Warda built stronger bonds with Tyson and Kieran. And I think might be a little envious of Anesu being able to create such deep relationships with the original Zamba members. Ooh. And that Warda doesn't have that. And so I think maybe that somehow created some animosity between them. That they're just no longer seen eye to eye as they did when this game started.
That makes sense. Yeah, I can see that because I was very, I will say, confused about that, like, friendship kind of going away or that relationship. I don't know if it was a friendship. And then we get to the immunity challenge. So Anesu, can we just talk about how she's lying in her confessional with Kieran? Because they're both chatting about, you know, oh, we have to get, you know, these people out. We can't let them win immunity. I don't even remember exactly everything they said, but oh my God, it was just all BS and I loved it.
It was incredible. I also love that we're seeing these duo confessionals and seeing the two people on the screen. It really gave me amazing race vibes.
Yeah, I liked it. And especially with Rainier and Amy, because I think they were like actually being honest. But I appreciated that Anesu, again, still playing the game. Because usually you're like, oh, they're going to be honest in the confessional. So let's listen to that. But even this time we were able to listen and actually like really see how she's able to, you know, be like, yeah, Kieran. Because Kieran was the one doing the talking. She was just saying, yep. Yeah. And just repeating basically what he was saying, which I don't know that he caught that much, but I caught it as like, that's something definitely I would do if I'm not trying to speak too much because we know that I might spill the beans. So I definitely have to be quiet and just be like, yeah, I agree with you for sure. Yep. And then, Amy and Rainier talk about how they need to win. And once they win, they're going to sound Nicole and Anella to immunity, which I wasn't too mad about.
Yeah, I love that Immunity Island is influencing their decision-making when it comes to the challenges.
Exactly. And I was like, wow, this is a little too perfect. And we know how on the nose this editing is. So I was like, oh, so this is what's going to happen. Got it. And then, we meet Nico. Nico's talking about tied destinies again. You're always together. And now we're going to have 2 immunity necklaces. Not one, but 2. And we see that the challenge is them like on a seesaw, putting or teeter totter and putting the like a pot, on it, and they have to balance it with foot. And it's not a seesaw. You could think it could be a 2-person game somehow where the pot's in the middle, but either way, there's gonna be only one person playing. And the biggest thing, drum roll please everyone, no immunity island.
The twist.
What do you think? Yes, the twist is there is no twist.
I had seen online a few weeks ago that it would go until final 9. So I thought there was a chance until Nico said no one was going that we would see it in the episode tonight. And yeah, I really liked this challenge as well. It's something we've seen in Survivor history. I recognized it immediately and thought it might have been something that Brad Culpepper won in Game Changers, because I remember he won all these balance challenges, but it was actually in Survivor Blood Water when Tina beat Laura Moret to re-enter the game at the end. And it was a tough battle. I think they were doing it for like 3 hours head to head. So I kind of thought maybe Nicole would do well once I realized what the challenge was.
No, for sure. It was, like I said, it was very interesting because I thought Anesu, again, locked in, but here we are. Then reward. Also, this is also a reward challenge. So the winning pair gets to go to a water park, which is, I think, my number 1 reward at this life. I love water parks. I cannot swim, but I love water parks. And they also get a shower and a feast, which, again, the feast will also come into play as a fun LOL with Andela.
And I misunderstood the reward when Nico was explaining it. I thought they were actually going overnight to the water park. I didn't realize they'd be returning to camp so quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it felt pretty quick, I will say, just because of how much hoopla happened about like who went to the water park. But anyway, yes, so let's get into the challenge. Santini's out pretty immediately. Anella's next.
Yeah, I just want to point out that Santini fell in this challenge faster than Josh did in that Big Brother fight last night. Shots fired.
Oh my God. So now Josh is gonna be like Jose and he'd be like, Jason,
come at me, goof.
Come find me. Come find me. I also want to say, everyone, that Josh was someone Jason really liked at the challenge. So how the tables have turned. Welcome, Jason. Welcome to the other side. But yes, Santini's out first and Anella. Then Kieran surprisingly was out. I don't know if it was like, it just seemed like the wind was wilded. Yeah. And then Chappie's, was he trying to throw?
I think not. I actually think he was trying to switch legs and thought he was fast enough that he could go from his right leg to getting his left leg on before the pot fell. But,
yeah, I was like, no one's faster than gravity. Oh, Theriso's here. Hi, Theriso.
Hey, Theriso. Nico was bringing it in the commentary. After Chappie's fell, he said, their dreams are shattered.
I'm surprised. Again, maybe I missed it, but there could have been a they always love to do the product placements with this stuff. So I didn't see a product placement, but it would have been a great time to have something about the out insurance or breaking out or something hilarious.
Or for a windbreaker brand.
Yes, a Santini's windbreaker. Oh my God. I really want to buy it because I think it's really cute. Chappie's then Warda's out, which again, what a bummer, but we get it. And then Amy and Rainier are now the only partnership left. And then August shows up and knocks out Anesthesia, Tyson, Rainier. Oh my God.
What did they do to spurn Mother Nature? Because she came at them so fast to blow them off the platforms. I have never seen wind like that in real life.
That was wild. I want to say because Anesu was doing like a yoga pose because she was, her hands or like palms were together, doing the namaste. I don't know what else you would call it, but doing all of this stuff. So I'm like, she's locked in, like in her brain, and we knew that Nicole definitely like this would be fine for Nicole. I was surprised by Amy. I don't know about you, Jason, because at the end it's 1 hour in and it's Nicole and Amy.
Yay for the blondies. Time for revenge.
Woohoo, blondies. But no immunity island for you. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say I wasn't that surprised Amy made it that far because she has shown us she is a competitor and we know how bad she wants to be there.
That's
and
true.
I think that was motivating her, especially after she persevered over the Mother Nature gust of wind. I thought she was gonna win.
Yeah, me too. I like was very surprised she lost, I will say, because just again the edit, the way like they've given her so much spotlight, like it's wild that she didn't win.
And if Rainier's pep talk to her might have been as good as Anella's, maybe she could have won.
Yeah, I will say I do think Anella was like actually trying harder, and then Rainier was like, oh, I gotta motivate her. Got it.
Well, and then is a coach, so I think he was able to pull into that I keep forgetting. Yes. Nicole.
So he's like actually good at this. And then yes, poor Amy. Nicole wins immunity. Amy looks like literally the wind got knocked out of her. Oh, that was sad. Amy, we love you. And then Tyson. I don't know why he looks so angry, but he does. And then Kieran says, "Good job. You picked the right rock, Anella."
This killed me. I love that we're seeing and hearing so much from Kieran at the immunity challenges related to the necklace, because we are hearing from him every single episode and it's hysterical.
Yeah, I think Kieran's obsessed with immunity necklace, which again, we all are obviously, but like Kieran's much funnier than I will ever be about it because he's like, my second date. Now he's like, you picked the right rock because he's like shading. He's like, Anella, you didn't do nothing, but you got it. Poor Anella, but whatever, jerks. And then of course we knew this was happening, or sorry, did you know this was happening? I figured another pair would be going.
Oh, I strongly assumed the winner would get to pick another pair.
So I saw there were 4 things of ice cream when they did a pan on why do I watch this like this? But seriously, when they were at the feast, there were 4 little melted cups. So I was like, oh, 4 people are going. So that was cute. And then, if Survivor really wanted to drag, they should have added another pair and only left 2 people behind. Oh, that would have been so mean. Anyway, so they pick a pair and it's like Survivor rookie 101 mistake. Nicole goes, it's a no-brainer. Amy and Rainier, come with us.
Oh, I loved that we got to hear from almost every single person about how Nicole made the wrong decision.
Except Nicole, who's like, they deserve to come here.
Yeah, Amy did so well in the challenge. She deserves the reward.
Oh, God.
I loved what Rainier was giving us. Nicole has a good heart. She just has a lack of Survivor knowledge. She made the wrong decision. She wrote our death sentence.
Rainier is so extra.
Dragging her.
Oh my God. And like it's Rainier and Amy in the confessional, but you can I could feel Rainier's like anger from this because I think he was like, well, even if we had a chance to save ourselves, this girl done screwed us over.
And do you remember, I think it was Survivor San Juan del Sur, when Jeremy Collins infamously said, these guys are so dumb. That's all I was hearing in this montage, thinking what Jeremy would say about Nicole.
No, Jeremy, I think, so San Juan del Sur, queen of all of them, were queens of letting go of their reward. So I don't know, Jason, here's my question, because would it have made any sense if Rainier was like, you know what, like, it doesn't make sense for me to go to the reward. I'm happy to give this to Chappie's Insanity.
I would have lived for that. That would have been the best move ever. And
right?
I don't think Nico would have known how to react because this has never happened in Survivor South Africa history.
Yeah.
I think that would have been the best decision for Rainier, and Amy would have gone along with it because
100%.
They couldn't have both gone to that reward. They needed to be split up so they could work different people to get the numbers and change the vote.
And Nicole, take out the 2 people that neither side likes anyway. Yeah. And I think Anella then I think maybe a light bulb would have gone off to be like, yeah, we'll take them, or something like that. So
because we saw throughout all of this, duo confessionals, we did see Anella by himself saying, this is so dumb. This was not the right play
at the water park. Anella was like, Nicole has a good heart, but and like Amy, like deserves it, but this is not smart. So I don't know why Anella didn't push more. Because like again, they're friends. So I feel like I would have been like, no, Jason, we can't do this. And then I think you would have listened and vice versa. So very weird situation, I will say, or take Tyson and Warda. So take the head of the snake out and then let the plebes decide, what's going on. But Kieran, I think, is too loyal.
Another reason to leave your allies at the beach is so they can see if anyone's looking for idols and advantages.
Yes.
Because the original Zombie have no idea if the original Vuna could have found 3, 4, 5 idols or advantages while they were in the water park on those slides.
That's what I'm saying. How I literally, before we got the confessionals, I wrote in my notes, like, how can you leave them to bond? This is so dumb. I literally wrote the end and then Rainier starts dragging. But I don't know if Teresa is still in the chat, but who would you have picked if you're in the chat? Like, please let us know in the comments. And then Kieran, we also get another one. Kieran says, yep, she killed Amy and Rainier's chances of any kind of talking. So thank you for that, Nicole. Oh, that was sad. And then Anesu says, yeah, it's a no-brainer, right? Why? Why she has to drag Nicole?
How could they not?
Come, I feel like it was so obvious. I don't think I am such a survivor like guru, but like, come on. I feel like this is so obvious. Like as Rob, Boston Rob says, can't leave people alone.
Exactly.
And then
that's a great Boston accent also.
Obviously. And then we get like fun cutscenes of the water park. I will say again, I love the water park. I would have had the time of my life, and I would have been like, I'm going home, so I gotta be happy here.
And that they had rented out the water park, so it was them only, and they could have gone on every ride. It didn't have to wait in line. And I bet they just had a wonderful time, actually. Even though Rainier and Amy were frustrated, I bet they loved being there because that's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Exactly. Like, when does this stuff happen? Like, it's so cool. And then we get a slow-motion shower scene, which, like, just why? Why y'all did this? But it's okay.
They're doing too much. That's what I wrote in my notes, the music.
Yeah, like the porno music. Like, it was weird. And then we get to the food. Food looks okay. Very much water park food, I will say. The milkshakes looked cool. I feel like that's what I would have gone for, which would have been good for calories anyway. And then,
there was a clue to something hidden at that reward? Because I was wondering, like, why aren't they looking?
Maybe they looked and there wasn't anything, so it wasn't worth showing.
That makes sense.
But I don't know, because I just can't imagine Rainier and Amy at least not looking. I could see Anella and Amy maybe like being a little pause, like an off guard. But the other two, I think maybe they just didn't look. Or because I think if there was something, cameras would have been panning to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think there wasn't anything. And the food looked okay, like I said. Rainier, again, I wish she wouldn't have picked us. Which I couldn't believe we get another confessional. Because we could have tried to work something out at camp and make it work. But then Anella, okay. Teresa said they looked. Just kidding. I missed. Yeah. Perfect. So that makes sense. Thank you. Inside info. I love it. So yeah, okay. They looked, which makes sense. So they wouldn't, I can't imagine they wouldn't have looked. And then we're now getting the 4 talking. They've solidified their plan, which, I feel like Amy's really trying to make herself feel better because she says, I'm glad that we all got to talk. And I think Amy says this or Nicole, I'm honestly not sure. But someone says, we're glad actually that we did get to talk because now we can go back to camp with like a solid plan. We've been known the plan.
And I thought to myself, what took you so long? Because this plan, I think, could have been created in the first 5 minutes of them being at the reward.
Thank you. No, it's like I just think they're trying to unfortunately make themselves feel better. And when you're in an echo chamber of like, we got this, we got this, we got this, I think it would have been it like makes it easier and like you're like almost like, oh yeah, I got it. Because Amy says, I don't think I'm gonna go home. I think we'll be fine.
Broke my heart. Because out of those 4, I really believe that Amy was
yes.
trying the hardest to be there. She was trying to do every move, build on these relationships. She even told them, Anesu will do this. She thinks she has chappies. We are safe.
Yeah.
And she's the only one doing it, as we see later on. None of the 3 of them were working chappies throughout this cycle before they went to tribal. And I was just so confused.
Yep. Again, like I said, I just feel like, just like Sean, we said last week, like just because you're down doesn't mean you're out. Like, why are y'all not even trying to finesse something? My God. But I think Nicole just that big chunk. I think it's pretty impossible. And then we get to the island at camp where they are, obviously looking for idols. But apparently there's nothing. But they do find some eggs hidden away. Looks like the chickens are going and laying the eggs everywhere.
I thought that was fun. We don't usually see them finding eggs on Survivor ever.
Yeah.
And I thought they were going to find something else because we did see the chicken come back later on, though. So I think it was from that chicken. But I wanted to see more strategy talk with the original Vuna 6 together, being able to speak so freely. And it was just like, oh, we're voting Rhaenyra? Okay, easy goes it.
Yeah, and not even that. So then they do the egg thing. Then Warda like kind of drags Santini, saying, just are you with us or you're. Because in the confessional, Warda says Santini's the weak link, and she's their only worry. Meanwhile, Anesu should be your worry, not Santini, who's actually trying to work with you, you jerks.
And Warda says to her, they're going to try to flip you.
Yes.
And you could see how angry it was making Santini.
Santini was like, I should just flip on them.
Yeah, she's like, I'm with you. You have nothing to worry about. Get over it. And Warda just kept coming back at her.
Which is like, again, this is what I mean when I say like, here's what happened with Marisha, right? Actually, and someone even says that. Anella calls it out later. But I was like, Warda, please, why? Like, just calm down. At least Tyson and Kieran like get their frustration out in confessional so that they can kind of be, good when they're all together. But anyway, and then
I was proud of Santini telling them as a group, it's not in my best interest to flip.
Yes.
Because I thought that was the right thing to say in front of 100%, everyone, cementing that she's with them.
Yep. And like, what more does she have to do? Like, she's the one voting with you while Anesu hasn't been voting on purpose, but still. Hasn't been voting. So what's the issue? It makes no sense. And then I feel like we need to talk about this funny egg moment where they're all making fried rice, which like very smart to use of resources. And then Warda says, we're not going to share. Or like make sure none of you share.
I agree with Warda's perspective. Because at the reward, Nico described it as a feast.
Yep.
If they are at the water park eating a feast, they're not going to eat our 4 eggs that we're splitting amongst 6 people.
Absolutely not. I think they're better than me because I'm so awkward that I would have shared, but I would not have wanted to. Or I would have been like, let's eat quickly, or what are we gonna say? Like, I would have had to have a plan ahead of time because I'm that stressful type of person.
I'm the same way. I would have like made a new fire in the woods and then made the eggs there so they wouldn't see me.
Yeah, so I would have needed like people to be like, Sasha, like it's fine, like we'll say it because I'm awkward. And then Anella, can we talk about this man? Is he joking?
Not joking at all. I think he was dead serious. He was so angry that he couldn't eat. Yeah, the water park food was good, but it wasn't what he was expecting. He was hoping
he didn't eat that much
dinner when he got back. He's a big guy. We saw it earlier in the season where he took those 2, protein bars. He needs the food. He needs to be energized. He is a physically bigger guy than the rest of them, so I can understand how chicken and veggie wraps might not fill him up, nor is ice cream filling.
Yeah. Which I find it funny, and I appreciate that he said it in confessional and not like during any other time, because that would have been a mess. I loved that how they all just like kind of took a nap. They're like, screw this. Like, how dare y'all not share with us? But it's fine. I think again would have been a great moment to like be like, oh my God, so glad y'all found the eggs. Like, I'm glad, like I know it's not the same, but at least there's some protein, like playing with them and kind of like making some moves instead of making it so awkward.
But I do feel at this point in the episode moving forward, Anella, since now that he has the necklace on, he has what we call in Big Brother HOH-itis, where he feels he can really play loosely. And I actually loved seeing Anella going for it time and time again, trying to save his allies, knowing he's safe. And even no matter how much they want to, they can't write his name down. And I hope he continues to play that way throughout his tenure on the beach.
Very big agree, because that's the next thing we get where he's talking to Kieran, he's really trying, and then Warda, Anella is first trying to say like, we have a common enemy, it's Santony, we obviously both don't trust her, so let's try to make some moves, let's get things going, la 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 la. And then Kieran says, I like his pitch, he's smart, he kind of clocks his game, but saying like, that's fine,
I respect the hustle.
Yeah, exactly. To be like, he's trying to get his target out, but if the target isn't going to come out, that's fine too, because then I'll get who I like. And then he's like willing to be a number for us, which is fine. I'm willing to work with it. So I think Kieran, not the weak link, but I think Kieran is the social guy that can kind of float between the two. So we need to look out for him as well. And then Tyson says, hey, I'm not going to lose 2 numbers. I like the pitch, but like, there's no way I'm going to accept it, which I just loved how he said that.
And it makes sense because it would be 4 versus 4. It's not like it would be 5 versus 4. That would be a different story. Then they would probably vote out Santony or Chappies. Exactly. And I love that they all are aware of that and they know they have a dysfunctional alliance, but they're sticking together because this is a game of numbers.
And that's what I'm saying. This is why, like, I think Tyson, like, I would want an ally like Tyson who, like, does not give 2 Fs if, like, there's any, like, movement. It's like he's very linear, very grounded, and he's like, this is what we're gonna do. Like, y'all have to stop. I think he needs a social player with him, but, like, I love how he plays because I think I would need someone like him because I feel like I'm very much like, you're right, let's maybe move a little bit. And Tyson's like, absolutely the hell not. We're not going to move. So I don't know. I really like Tyson's gameplay. I wish that he'd, I think, take a step back a little and see what the writing on the wall a little. And then we get Anesthesia who says, I would like to flip. Let's go, chappies. Let's talk about Operation Destiny and do some negotiation. What did you think of this whole conversation?
D-Day is finally here.
Yeah, baby.
These are decisions that will not only affect my game, but everyone else's game. And I think that showed us first that Anesthesia is thinking about what's in the best interest of everyone she's playing with.
Yep.
And what is it going to take for her to say to them to get her to the end? And I think she's just playing a step ahead of everyone else because we also saw her before Chappies go to Amy and talk about how it's time. I'd like for you to stay. Like, and Amy says, oh, it'd be cool for the game. Let's make a move. Yes. And Amy trying to like keep her excitement under wraps before Anesthesia goes to Chappies. And this is when like their fingers, they make that evil laugh together. Yeah. They're ready to go. And they're going to be in the majority, but they're weighing the options also is if we take out Warda and Tyson, it's going to be 4 versus 4. Yeah, exactly. Also, I just got a notification that we might not be live on Twitch anymore. So sorry about that, everyone. If that's not working, we're still on YouTube. Anyway, okay, back to this. And I agree with you, Jason. I liked Chappie's answer, I will say, to Anesthesia kind of trying to explain a little bit like, hey, I agree with you that, if we vote out Warda and Tyson, like, it'll be great. But is it time yet? It's timing, yeah. Then Anesthesia shows Chappies for the first time the advantage she won at Immunity Island. And Chappies is like ready to go as Anesthesia starts being like, well, I told everyone I lost. And he's
Yes.
so eager. You won. Like, tell me what you got. And I was surprised how honest Anesu was.
And how she wants to use it. Oh my God.
I cannot wait. I think it's going to be used in the next episode. And
Yeah.
they might send one of the three musketeers back to tribal or back to the beach and vote out the other ones. Because they'll have a 4-3 majority no matter what.
I love how excited Chappies was, because Chappies got so excited that he couldn't stop, almost like being like finishing Anesu's sentence for her, which I was like, this is so sweet, because I think him and Santini have obviously a great bond, but now he's finally bonding with someone else. And I think the three of them, you tweeted it, I know, could really be a force if they kind of make the right moves at the right time.
And I also think Chappies is so excited and eager to work with Anesu because he sees how much social capital she has.
Yes.
And now she's giving some of it to him. And that's giving him a foot in the door, whether or not he stays with Anesu, but to make moves.
Yep. Agreed. And that's why, again, I love this relationship. I felt like, again, Anesu grounds Chappies, where I think he can kind of dream big a little, whereas she is very much like making all the right moves and finding everything instead. And I feel like Chappies grounded Anesu here, I will say a little, because he's like, let's not cannibalize ourselves yet, like, because then it'll be 4-4. So let's like make sure that we definitely, old OG Zamba needs us, and then we'll flip. Let's not do it yet, which Anesu, I think, was like, yeah, you're right. Operation Destiny is now on ice.
And then Amy approaches them. And Anesu instantly tells Amy, I haven't told Chappies yet. Like, he's not in. And Amy goes all in, trying to flip Chappies, giving reason after reason about how it makes more sense for them to be together. We need to vote out the trio. They are so tight. Tyson and Warda are the biggest threats. And we hear from Amy how she feels like she's on an island because she's the only one trying. She has to be good cop and bad cop. She has to make dirty deals. And that's not the game she wants to play.
Yeah. So this is where I loved it, because this is what I was feeling. I was like, why is it only Amy talking? Like, this makes absolutely no sense. Because again, we have still not seen the Rhaenyra Chappies fight. So I thought, oh, this is finally it, because Rhaenyra is going to be like, dude, I thought we had something going, like, let's fight, or, let's like work together. Chappie says no or whatever. So I agree with Amy's. I don't know that she was bad cop here. But I think I understand what she's saying, where she's like, I just don't want to be ducking and dodging and dealing so much.
I really felt for Amy right after this when she goes to not only Rhaenyra, but also Anella and says, Chappies is 80%. And I was just waiting to see Rhaenyra or Anella try to close Chappies and get him from 80 to 100. And they just left Amy out there hanging and did not try to help her close that deal and get Chappies on their side. And I just don't understand what they were not doing. Why wouldn't they want to help, knowing a potential flipper is 80% of the way to flipping?
And that's where I'm confused, because to me, it's like, does that mean that what Sean said in his confessional last time, basically Sean said, right, he didn't want to go so hard because he didn't want to scare off Santini. Is that something that happened here? Because, why would you not push for your safety? What do you have to lose is my question.
And I think with the two guys, Anella and Rhaenyra, not going to Chappies, it really made Amy start spiraling.
Yeah,
because she
I
truly
think so.
felt like she was alone. And we see this conversation with her and Santini, where she says, you could save us, but you're choosing not to.
Not to, yep. Which I don't know that I've heard that before. Again, like I said, and maybe they've said it before, but because the edit never wants to make it so obvious who's going home, they don't show us. But this was like so on the nose, where she says, I am your friend. You like me, yet you will not vote for me. That means you are the reason I am going home. Period. End of story. Which, wow, that's powerful. And I
was really impressed with how Santini responded.
Exactly.
It showed us her level of self-awareness, where she said, I have made mistakes before. I'm not making mistakes again, and I'm going to deal with the consequences that I am making. And we very rarely in Survivor history hear contestants say they're going to accept the consequences for their mistakes. Usually they try to place blame on other people.
Yeah, and I also find it interesting because I think Santini's trying to do jury management and saying, I'm just tired of flip-flopping at this point. Like, I don't want to, that is not the person I am. Because last week we saw her say, I'm tired of playing this game. I did not realize this is the game I would be playing. And now look at me, right? So I think Santini's trying. She sees like, hey, I'm not going home this week, so why should I flip? I don't think they should have flipped. Again, if they were not in duos, Santini should have flipped because there's two people leaving. It's really hard.
And I also felt bad for Santini because she showed her vulnerability and said to Amy, it's not like I wake up and say, I want to vote Amy out today.
Mm-hmm. And I don't even think they want to vote Amy out. I think they want Vernier out more than they do Amy. But, it doesn't work. I will say I'm stressed for if Santini makes it to final, like how her chances are because old Zamba is so pissed at her. And I know they're most likely going to vote together. Like they're all like friends. So I can't imagine, like that's one thing I'm stressed for, I will say. Unless she does something, but Amy is, Amy's scorned. And I feel like that will hurt Santini a little. So let's see. I don't know yet, but that's what I'm feeling at least. And then Warda, that kind of wraps up that conversation. Now we get to Warda, Kieran, and Tyson. And then she's saying, by work, and then she's talking to Anella.
Who is immunity.
Yes, who is immune, everyone? In case Warda maybe forgot, I don't know. But Warda says, you're working with these two, which means you're working with me. Why would you out yourself like that?
Yeah, it made absolutely no sense. She was revealing to her opposition the depth of her alliance and how close she was with half of it, but not the other half.
Exactly. Which again, I understand what Warda is trying to do because like I said, I don't know that Warda has been in a place of power like this, or rather this much power.
Mm-hmm.
So like I get what she's trying to say because her and Anella specifically have had so many issues that I think what I think she was trying to say is like, hey, by working with them, you're working with me because we are friends. And like, I want maybe you and I to bury the hatchet. But I think she should have done a little bit more trust building with him because what do you have to lose? Like jury management is so important. Why not be nice and let him feel like he has something going with you?
And why choose to say no line separates us three? She didn't say us six.
Yes.
The original Lunas, she made it very clear there is a line between these three and the other three.
Why didn't Anella bring that up at Tribal? Don't ask me. Because like Anella, this pisses him off so much. And then she even says the three of us are willing to bring you to 4. And this is what like sets Anella off. Like Anella is done, I feel like.
Especially because earlier in the season, Warda has accused Anella of being full of arrogance.
Yep.
And now the tables have turned.
The round table has turned because this is a mess. So Anella immediately goes back and he says, this is just like Marisha, where y'all voted her out for that. So why are you doing this? So Anella says, great, I trust the Zamba 3 more than I do the Vuna 3. Basically, like the Zamba 3 is Vernier, right? Yeah, Vernier, Amy, and Nicole versus these 3. Mm-hmm. So Santini's sorry, I'm wrong. The Zamba 3 are Santini's, Chappie's, and Anesu. Like basically saying I trust those 3 to flip more than I do the trio. So that means that let's make something happen. Come on, y'all. And Santini's pretty pissed that they said this. So Santini's saying, you know what? Let's get him out. Let's do it.
And I think this also reinforces to Anesu that these 3 people who she thought she was thick as thieves with, not only didn't tell her about the advantage clue at the last challenge, but now again, they're offering Anella her spot in the final 4.
Spot, exactly.
And she was able to keep it together because I really thought that Anesu was going to go confront the trio because we've seen her relationship with Warda. We know Kieran has an affinity to Anesu, and we know her and Tyson are on like fragile ice. So I was just like hoping something would break and we would see this big fight happen.
Big agree.
But they kept all their emotions in check, which I think was the right thing to do.
Yes. So again, I think they're right, but I wish they did more with this information. At Tribal, I think actually would have been the right time to call everybody out. And then, Rainier. Okay. And then we get to the trust book signing. What was this conversation? I'm very confused.
I also was extremely confused. I've never referred to a metaphoric trust book or like a trust book in real life that I make my friends sign. It kind of reminded me of a yearbook, like at the end of the school year, you
or a slam book.
Sign it.
Yeah.
That would be better. But at least we saw Rainier try something. I think he had heard, Amy tell him Chappies is 80% of the way there. And he thought this play would get Chappies to 100%.
Mm-hmm.
And Chappies did such a great job of telling Rainier everything he wanted to hear, pretending to be just as excited as he was when Anesu shared her advantage with him. He's like, oh, Rainier, I trust you so much. Let me pull my pen out and sign your book. Tell me where to sign. And it worked. Rainier believed him, I thought, completely.
Yeah, I agree with, again, it's such a bummer. Like, God, it's really sad because I thought that something was going to happen here, but it wasn't, which is fine. Sure. They have a moment here, which is nice. Then we get to Kieran, and Rainier talking. Oh, another thing, sorry, we forgot to bring up with Warda. Warda asks Anella, do you have an idol, or will there be an idol played? It's in your best interest to tell us because we want to take you to Final Four. This is what sets him off. And then, so Kieran kind of asked the same thing, but in a much nicer way, where Kieran says, are there going to be Rainier fireworks at Tribal? Which, wow, I love Rainier fireworks. Like, what a fun thing to happen. So Kieran says, will there be something? Rainier says, yeah, I feel like something crazy might happen. I don't know. I'm going to do something. And then I don't know if it was jury management, but an amazing line from Kieran. Kieran says, no hard feelings. If you do play a tribe, just play something or do it, whatever. And we are both here tomorrow. No hard feelings. What an amazing thing to say.
It was incredible. And I think this is a prime example of the difference between Kieran and Tyson's game. While Tyson might seem more strategic, Kieran is 10 times more social. And he is building these bonds with people, saying the right things in every conversation. And the jury members are going to remember that.
Yep. I agree with you. And that, wow. It's just, Kieran is really setting himself up well, where I think they know that Kieran's in power, but because of the way Kieran's chatting with them, I think they're kind of almost okay with it, quote unquote. So
Kieran also mentions that he knows Rainier's going to do something explosive tonight, and he hopes his allies don't buy it.
Exactly. Which I don't know if they did a little talk, like, if I were Kieran, I'd be like, yo, squad, let's get together and just be like, we know Rainier. We know he's going to be wild. Let's still stick to the plan. Let's Keith nail it, people. And then we get to Tribal, where Nico is dragging and says, Anella, you got the best deal out here.
But Anella so accurately responded, it's a false sense of security. Once this necklace is off my neck, the target is back on my back. And I'm just so impressed in this whole episode about how aware Anella is and motivated to play the game because he felt immune.
Yes, I agree with you as well, because I will say that it's really interesting that Nico's fun, cheeky moment got turned into actually a very real strategy conversation. So again, props to Anella. I feel like he's finally coming into his own identity as a player, instead of kind of just being bulldozing everything. And then, so then Rainier and Amy start talking, and Nicole says, well, it's Rainier, it's Amy. it's me, and then it's gonna be Anella. That's whose necks are out. And Nico, I think, is kind of shocked that she just kind of like laid it all out there. Kieran then Nico, I think, asked something to Kieran about when are you the six gonna start maybe then breaking up. Kieran says, eventually we do have to eat each other, but not yet. Not yet. But when are you gonna cut each other, Kieran? Kieran says, yep, I'm sure everyone has thought about it, but we are not gonna do it, and that is it. I think Kieran was kind of irritated.
But he was doing a great job keeping his cool and not mumbling or revealing information that Nico was trying to prod and pull out of him. And I think when Nico realized it, he went to the next person, because then he started asking Chappies the exact same questions. And Chappie says, we are in the majority. Everyone is equal. This is about timing, because we have a common goal now. But when we've reached our goal, the game is open.
Exactly.
And who cannibalizes who next?
Yep. Oh, wild.
What did you think of Nico telling Anesu, you look sad. Are you okay?
She goes, do I? Like, I don't know what was going on with Nico here. I think he was just rightfully so trying to get content because everyone was being kind of boring.
And cagey, yeah.
Exactly. So I understand him. I get it. But anyway, so yeah, he pushes that. He's like, hey, what's going on? Let's have a chat. But she says things are going, according to what the majority wants. I didn't really understand what she meant, but I think for the most part, she's just trying to say it's not surprising, but I know that things are moving. I know people are thinking things, which is disconcerting. So basically, she's saying, I know that you know that I know that you know. That's what Anesu, I think, is trying to say. And then Amy jumps in, and Amy's like, hello. The way 6-people alliance works is people are at the top and some at the bottom. So people that are at the bottom need to wake up and understand where they are.
And as this was happening, did you see Warda tap Santony's arm and try to, I guess, confirm that they are still aligned?
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was very awkward.
Yeah, not needed, I will say. This is where Warda is, again, showing her colors a little bit, where they're really, I feel sad. I don't think it needed to happen.
She was not having what Amy
was. My God. What do you think about Warda's outburst?
I loved it because I want to see fireworks at Tribal.
Of
and it
course.
Was also, I feel, Warda had to be loud because they were on opposite sides of the group. So the only way for Amy to hear her was for her to be loud and yell at Amy, even though she might not have been trying to yell at her or scold her. And I thought it was really funny when Warda was like, who are you talking about? Who's at the bottom? Tell us who's at the bottom. Why are you so married to this idea?
Exactly. And not even that. She's like, it's a round table. We're all the same. Everyone, I love that. Usually they'll have another analogy, but I think the round table is the best way to describe it, because I think that just shows you're literally equal with everyone. And she's like, to me, if someone is that adamant about, there being a round table, to me that equals there is not a round table and there is going to be some issues.
And I liked seeing Amy fight for her life and ask Warda, why are you taking this so personally?
Yes. Again, another moment for Anella to have jumped in and said, but Warda, you told me that you wanted to take me to Final Four. So what happened?
Where do I sit at the round table?
Yeah. Or to be so there isn't a round table because there's 3 of you versus the 3 of them. Do something. My God. Oh, that was so frustrating.
Oh, it was so frustrating because Anella had the opportunity to mix up the game.
And we know he was pissed about it.
And he was immune. So no matter what he said, they couldn't write his name down.
And his allies are going home regardless. So why not try?
But then in the middle of it, Chappies is like, we're running in circles. These are mundane answers. We're being asked the same questions. And I felt for Nico when he said that. What are we going to do? And then Amy says, Chappies, I was asked a question and I have to answer it.
Yes. Amazing. Again, Amy is correct in that. And Chappies, I don't know why Chappies is doing that, because if you're watching the show, you see everyone kind of being let's stick to the plan. It's okay. It's okay. But Chappies is just not having it. And then Rhaenyra goes, actually, let's not go to the vote because I do have the Osendile idol, suckers. Don't ask me how I got it. Don't ask to look at it. Don't ask me when I got it, but I got it, people.
And he starts charging up Kieran and Anesu.
Yes.
Not only do I have an idol, but the plan is to blindside you tonight. And I'd rather keep you here and vote out someone else.
Ugh.
Then we hear Santony show us the idol.
Because he drags Santony and Chappies. Why would you do that? Like, again, I just feel like the problem is that instead of working Santony and Chappies to flip, who are way more likely to flip than anyone else, then like getting Kieran to flip on his two closest people. That makes it's so frustrating. Like, be like, Santony, Chappies, I don't want to vote you out. They've been telling me that they want you out, so let's work together. Like, why aren't we doing it? It's wild.
I don't think this was the best play from Rhaenyra, because when Kieran at first wasn't going along with it and Santony was saying, show me the idol, Rhaenyra responded, well, I don't have to prove it to you. And that to me showed his arrogance and level of pretentious to talk down to Santony, who is a prime candidate to flip, like you had just said. And he just didn't even think about that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I just don't understand. And Santony is not afraid to call people out at all. Like, at all. So another weird, I don't know, I feel like another weird situation where they could have pushed more.
Yeah, and Rhaenyra saying, gamble with your survivor life. And asking Kieran, you like poker?
Why Kieran?
Time to place a bet. Time to place a gamble. A wager. And I didn't understand what motivated him to think that was the right play. Because I did not think at all once that Kieran was going to flip. I think there was a 0.0001% chance he would.
Which is, again, I want to make it very clear that Rhaenyra could have maybe gotten Santony and Chappies to flip with Anesu as well. Oh my God. And then why was he mute? Like, it makes no sense. I know that, like, he's trying to get in good with the 3 again, but why? They're gonna cut you at 4. Why do you want to stay on until 4 only?
And Anella could have spoken up and turned the votes against Warda and Tyson
in
this moment when Rhaenyra was making this show.
Oh my God. It was just, I just felt really sad because I just want to like shake them and be like, you just had a good feast. So I know your brain is working better than most. So what's the issue? Because the math ain't mathin', people. And then Rhaenyra, whatever. Then Santony yells. He still doesn't show it. Then Kieran says, actually, I do want to see the idol, because I can't flip it if I don't see you. And then he was like, you know what? Be a poker player. Ridiculous, stupid.
And like Rhaenyra started to give him the pouch and then took it back.
What?
That's not how you build trust.
Oh my God. I think Rhaenyra maybe should have, or maybe other folks could have done it where they should have been like, Rhaenyra should have, been like, I got the idol here. Here it is. I'm not going to show it because I know folks are going to freak out and say, hey, show me the idol, la, la, la. Like, I don't want to play these games. Chappie said he wanted to get to the vote. That's exactly what we're going to do. I just wanted to tell y'all so we're on the same page. And the people that I like don't want to go home, right? You have to have some aggression if you're going to do the play.
And I think the better play would have been to have Anella or Nicole try to make a play with a fake idol. If one of them would have pulled this out and said, we are using this to save one of those two.
No, the both. Yeah, it doesn't.
To both. Yeah. And but it didn't work out. It's like the 4 of them weren't on the same page with this master plan that Rhaenyra had.
But didn't you have all the time at your feast to decide?
And it's just frustrating to watch.
Yeah, it's just
Rhaenyra
hard.
is a good player.
Because Amy and Rhaenyra are smarter than this. I think that's why it's hard. And I will say, not just that Amy and Rhaenyra are smarter than this, Amy, I think, is just so frustrated. I don't know if Amy was just like, I'm just going to throw in the towel because, like, it's just me at this point fighting. And I can feel that. Like, I have played only 2 or 3 org games, like online reality games. And like sometimes when you're out, you're like up the creek without a paddle, you're just like, whatever, just vote me out, whatever at this point. So I think maybe there's some frustration there too. So I want to give her some grace. And then after the vote, it's back. You thought I was bluffing, people. I'm going to get up and I'm going to throw my idol, eat dirt, people.
What did you think of Rainier's monologue when he was talking about driftwood and the shells that draw attention from the water, and he hopes the real power player was there with the distraction he made? I was so lost. Please tell me what he was talking about.
My God. I was on the driftwood out drifting to sea at this point, because I was like, what are you saying? Like, are you saying that driftwood isn't important, but shells are, and shells are the star players? So he hopes that the stars players come out to play. If you said that, or if you wanted to say that, you should have said it before the vote. Because guess what, my friend? Votes can't change after you do this. I don't know. I really want to know what happened. Like, why did they fumble the bag like so bad?
And it was just disappointing to see, because we've seen a lot of really strategic gameplay from Rainier all season. He has a very good head on his shoulders. He understands the mechanics of the game, how it works, and what moves to play. And this seemed like just a horrible last-ditch effort to save himself.
Yep.
I was just expecting more from what we'd seen in the previous 10 episodes.
Period. Just bummer. And then votes are red, 5 on Rainier, 5 on Tyson. I like that they're now at least doing the votes at the, like, leaving the swing vote until the end. So at least it was like 4-4, and then there was 1 vote left. Tyson looked a little stressed, I will say, but turns out he didn't need to worry about anything. No one flipped. Amy says, well, I'll see you soon. Bye, everyone. Rainier says, I did my best, but I understand what's going on. Let's get the torches snuffed. I can't believe Amy got 0 votes.
And up till this point in the episode, I still thought there was a chance that my prediction would have been right, that the eliminated team would have faced off head-to-head in some sort of challenge where one of them would still stay in the game. And that Amy would have had a chance, because she got 0 votes.
Yeah, why? And I don't know why they wouldn't do that, if I'm being honest. So, just a bummer. Poor Amy. I feel like she actually tried really hard. We've seen Rainier try hard weeks before. With Marisha, even, I felt like there was more push than here. So that's a bummer. I think they were great. We know Amy was a front runner, so it's really weird how it all broke down. And then they're after voting scenes, we see that they're the twist screwed us. We were in a good place.
I really want to see Amy come back and play again, if not on an all-star season, in the next season of this show, because she deserves it. She played great. She was never a big target. She built strong relationships. She made good moves, and she got voted out because of a twist. And that's just,
and because she was tied to Rainier.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm even wondering if it was her and Santony, would she have gotten voted out? Because Santony would have worked just as hard, So I just feel sad. I think Zamba never really recovered from being the people in power and not having to work from the back. And I think they just never recovered from that, which is a bummer.
And I just want to apologize to Amy and Sean, and I feel like I cursed them a little bit. After Marisha got voted out, I predicted they would be the last 2 Zamba members standing, and they are 2 of the next 3 on jury. So I feel a little bit responsible. So I'm here for you, Amy.
I know. We love you, and you deserve it. Like I said, this cast was amazing, but I just want a lot of this cast to come back. I feel like they just kind of got screwed with rivalries and frustration. I don't know. It's okay.
But that being said,
yes,
I am a little bit happy that our Silent 6 or OG Vuna members are still there.
Period.
Pagonging the other tribe, and I hope they are in the final 6, because that's what I want to see.
Yeah, let's be honest. We're saying all this, but I don't want Tyson out. I don't want Warda out. I don't want Santini out. I don't want Chapman. I don't want Anesthesia out. So like whatever. And at this point, I love that maybe if Nicole's out next and Anella stays, now all the faves are there. And now whatever can happen. And then it's fine.
And I think it would be interesting to see Anella work with Santini, Anesu, and Chappies, because we've seen Anesu and Anella have this bond. We've seen Chappies and Anella. We saw Santini and Anella, recover from their broken relationship.
Yes.
So I would love to see him be their number 4.
Yep. Agreed with you on that. Jason, tell me your threat list, please.
My threat list has gotten a lot smaller.
Yeah.
I really am putting Anesu at the top of it. I think after this episode, she is showing us that she has the ability to win this game, both strategically, socially, and she can compete in the challenges. I'm also standing my girl Santini. Call me the Stantini. Yes. I want to see her and Anesu at the end.
You need to change your Twitter name. Like how how people change it every time. So, oh my God.
What about you, Sasha? Who's on your list?
Yes, mine is actually almost the same as yours. I want to say Anesu, Tyson, and Kieran, and then Santini in there. I think Santini makes it far. I'm just stressed about jury management. I will say that's why I don't know that she's on my win list, but she's on my threat list to go far. I think Warda might get caught up and get voted out because of it.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with what you said about Santini. And I think if she does get to the end, she is a smart enough person and a big enough fan of the game that she could make an argument to defend every move she made.
Yeah.
That is what she had to do. That's not what she wanted to do, but she had to react in this game to go the distance.
Yeah.
And I think she could garner the respect of the OG Zombas, but it's an uphill battle. But if anyone can do it, she can.
Stantini, and I'm just kidding. But yes, I love that. Anything else about the episode, Jason? Great. If not, let's plugs. So where can people find you, Jason?
You can find me on Twitter at @TheRealJO, where I'm posting about all things reality TV, both US and international, sports, and other random things that pop into my head. So follow me for a good time.
Yeah, and do you want to make the announcement for next week? What new is coming up?
You can find Sasha and I next week joining Geneva and Carrie. The group is back together covering The Challenge, Season 37, Spies, Lies, and Allies.
We're here with our allies, we think. No, I'm just kidding. But we'll be there. And there might be some coverage before that as well. Maybe we'll do a cast preview. Maybe Isaiah will come on. We don't know. But yeah, turn on the notification bell so you'll know when we go live for all of that. So get excited. And for me, you can find me on Twitter at funsize_04. Maybe one day I'll change it. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't do it.
And I was on post-show recaps actually last week talking season finale of season 1 of Community with Josh Wigler and Jess. So it was a really fun time. We talked about everything Community, and then we kind of talked about Dunkin' Donuts, music, all of it. So get excited. It's a fun listen. And of course, if you like mess, if you like crazy, please listen to the Love and Hip Hop Wrap Up. It's honestly just me gossiping with my friends. So you want to check it out. I'll be on next week with Mari. So we're going to, again, keeping the tradition of fire guests only. And one more thing, Chappelle and I are going to be on Silent Podcast covering Never Have I Ever this week. So you're going to have another podcast to follow here. And we will be posting it on Spotify as well. I'm trying to figure out the other avenues. Give us some time. So yeah, lots of new content coming to you. So make sure you like and subscribe. Share this video, please. It's so helpful. Thank you to all the survivors that are watching. It's really fun to get the insight from you. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, to Silent Podcast, and subscribe to us on Spotify. Is it subscribe, follow? I don't know, but whatever.
Listen.
Do that. Yeah. On Spotify for more content related to reality TV, scripted TV, and more. So thank you everyone for watching. We're so glad you joined.